Hello. Hold on. This is a tan removal sheet mask. I just got back from my tour vacation from Kerala, and it's safe to say I have tanned at least 2 shades. So, yeah, bear with me. Just got back yesterday and I am 90% sure I am getting sick. You know that feeling that you get that you're going to fall sick? Yeah, I'm there. So, I don't have any energy to make a video. I don't have any creative ideas to make any video. I know this channel is related to baking and cooking, but I did not want to create a subpar video with no creativity and no effort. But I also did not want to go 2 weeks without posting a long video. So I thought, why not give you guys a glimpse into my vacation? It was a really fun vacation, and tell you how I did my first solo trip and snuck out from the group. By next week or so, we'll be back to our regular cooking, baking, educational channel. Let's get started. So yes, I am super tan right now. I had to change my foundation shade. I went to Kerala with the tours and travels group. I know, very lame, but it was the only option I had given how last minute it was. Since the first day of their itinerary was super boring for me, I decided to sneak out of the group and do 1 day solo tripping to Varkala. So I landed in Thiruvananthapuram and was staying at the Fort Manor Hotel, and it took around an hour and a half to get from the hotel to the Odayam beach, which is the first beach I visited. It's on the south side of the Varkala cliff. It is beautiful, it is secluded. Southside beaches are known to be very secluded. There's not a lot of people going there. There's not a lot of partying happening. And that's exactly the vibe I love. There were not more than 20 people on that beach. And it was so beautiful. The sand was almost black there. Even though it's not the black sand beach, which is a different beach on north side of Varkala, the sand was beautiful. The water was cold and it was just serene. I took my tripod with me. I took a lot of pictures. I took a video. And it was beautiful. And best part was, I thought it would be super sunny, but it had just rained the day before I got there, so it was really cloudy and grayish. And I used my sun hat as a kind of a rain shield because as usual I forgot my umbrella. I'm going to stay there for a little longer, sit on the beach, get my feet dirty, but I saw a guy and he was kind of staring at me and he was kind of following me, so I just kind of snuck out. Climbed up the beach, went to a cafe there, I don't really remember the name, sat there, enjoyed the view from the cafe, had a beer for myself. It was amazing. After I had my beer, I got in the car and then I went to Darjeeling Cafe for lunch. Out of all the vlogs I had seen, everyone did mention Darjeeling Cafe, and it is worth the hype, like worth the hype. The view that you get from the seating arrangement in the balcony is ridiculous. Just looking down, you see a narrow pathway there are a lot of tiny markets there. Supermarkets, souvenir shops, restaurants and all, and just above that there's this gorgeous view of the entire cliff of Varkala and just water and water until your eyes can see. Given how much I love food and eat and nature, and you combine those two, it's literally the best thing that I could have done on that trip is snuck out from my group and go on a solo trip for Varkala. I ordered fish and chips because of course seafood, fish and chips, and homemade ginger beer. And from there I went to Kaveri Elephant Center. This is not that popular in Varkala, but since I'm a huge animal lover and I hadn't really seen elephants up close, and I saw in some of the vlogs that Kaveri Elephant Center is one of the most humane ways that they keep and take care of the elephants, so I wanted to see it for myself. And it was all true. The elephants are so well looked after there. The female elephant is called Ganga, and all she wanted was treats from me.
Are you trying to get something from my bag?
Had a backpack here and she was trying to find if I had any treats in here. She was so sweet, and all the trainers and the caretakers there, like she was listening to the caretakers so well. I've seen elephants on television. I've seen them far away on a jungle safari. But seeing them this close, like the size difference is scary. But she was so gentle. She even booped me with her trunk. Just beside her, there were 2 male elephants. The first male elephant was lounging on his side, and 3 caretakers were just washing him and bathing him with brushes and washing powder and all that. And he was just like, he was the king of that area, and 3 mere measly humans were cleaning him. It was so sweet. I saw so many other international animals as well, like a turkey, emu, elk, So many different goats, Canadian goats, lots of different endangered animals, so many different types of ducks, like the ducks that you see in your picture books that you don't really get to see in Indian national parks. It was really fun. I could have gone to some more scenic places and explored some of the beaches and cafes, but I really wanted to go to an animal center. Really had fun. Because the next day we had to leave at 5 a.m. for Sri Swami Padmanabham temple in Thiruvananthapuram. It is one of the richest temples there is. Didn't get many pictures because we were not allowed our mobile phones there. So all the pictures you'll see will be from Google. That was the second time that I was so mesmerized by going to a temple. When we got to the Lord's deity's Murti, it is 18 feet long idol of Vishnuji. He's lounging on a serpent, that's why it's called an Anantham. You see him through 3 different doors because he's 18 feet long. So first you see his feet, then you see his middle part, and then a face and a torso. And just the final second where I looked at his face, and it was mesmerizing. I had tears in my eyes. It was so beautiful. I can see why people stand in queues for hours to get like 30 seconds, 40 seconds in front of the deity. The architecture is beautiful. It is a combination of Indian style and Dravidian style architecture. It is all carved from one stone. It's spaced from the 8th century. So the darshan was done by 7:30 almost. So we went back to hotel, showered, changed, and then went to Jatayu Earth Center. You get there by a trolley car. It's around 600-700 per head. So it's like a man-made sculpture of Jatayu. It's dedicated to women's safety and honor. So Jatayu was the first line of defense where Sita was abducted by Ravana. When Ravana attacked Jatayu, that was the place where he fell, and he fell on his back. That's why you'll see that his claws are up in the air. It's a beautiful sculpture, but it was so hot. It was boiling, and that's the place where I first started getting my tan. It was super hot, beautiful, but super hot. From there, we headed to Kottayam to our hotel called the Windsor Castle. It was another beautiful hotel with a really nice view. We took a lot of photos in the hotel, and then the next day, we went to backwater rides, which is the most fun and the most famous part of Kerala tourism. It's a double-decker boat. There are 20 to 30 people on the boat, and it just takes you through the entire backwaters of Kerala. If you keep sailing over the backwaters in like 2.5 to 3 hours, you'll reach Cochin. This is like the main form of transportation for a lot of people in Kerala. They don't prefer the roads because it's a uphill ghat climb. There are a lot of houses on the backwaters. People live there, bathe there. There is a post office on the boat. There is a grocery shop on the boat, and it's so beautiful. Kerala is known as God's own country, and there's a reason for it. Like, it was exactly the kind of recharge that we needed before we got back to our life, you know. And then yet another best part of the day was that we had authentic Kerala food, which was a tuna curry and a bangra fry, and I don't remember the name of the rice, but it's a specific rice that is made in Kerala. It's slightly reddish. It is similar to a risotto rice where it's very thick, and all the other accompaniments, tuna and the bangra, oh my god, like we were in seafood heaven. It was perfectly spicy, it was very fishy, and the rice was really meaty. Like, I can see why people in Kerala don't really need rotis. We as Maharashtrians, we cannot do without rotis, but that rice is so meaty, and I ate it properly like a Keralite would. Like, they almost pick it up with their hands and they throw it in their mouth. Then it is such a fun way to eat. I don't know why people don't eat it like that every other place in the world. And as a foodie, I was really, really satisfied. From there, we went to Thekadi, to yet another hotel, quickly changed because at 6 p.m. we had a dance performance. No, we didn't have a dance performance. We were going to watch a dance performance. It's a Kathakali dance performance. The dancers train for 6 to 8 years minimum before they can actually perform in front of people. Dance form only includes males. Females are not allowed, at least were not allowed. Nowadays, a few females do take part in it. Both the characters were played by 2 male dancers. The first half an hour of the performance was the dancer giving us history about the dance, showing us the different mudras and expressions. He also engaged the audience. He brought up some people from the audience. In the next 30 minutes was the actual dance performance, and it was beautiful. And the dances, they are not facing each other while they're dancing. They're facing the audience. They are not interacting with each other, but their dances are so expressive, their facial expressions are so expressive that you realize that they don't need to face each other. The dances will tell the story and the audience will be able to look at them straight on. The final act, the female dancer turns into a demoness, like shows her true colors and shows that she is actually a demon. That was the best 3 minutes of the performance. Next show at 7 p.m. was a Kalai Patharu show. It's the oldest form of martial arts. It's the martial arts that we have seen Vidyut Jamwal do in his movies and on his Instagram. It is super difficult. It's one of the oldest martial arts, and since I had very little memory in my phone at that time, I only captured the fire part of the performance. But there is also non-fire part where there's a lot of sword fighting and knife fighting and all that. It was really, really amazing. But the fire part was the most entertaining. Like the guys, the men who are doing it were so talented, and they are so like into the art form. Like you can see that they have dedicated their life to it. It is amazing and so entertaining. We were so tired by the end of the day, and yet no one really wanted to get up from their seat by the end of the show. We were all mesmerized by it. And the next day we had an early morning jungle safari, a wildlife safari, but that safari was from a boat. But because the boat makes so much noise, the animals don't really come to the edge of the water. Wind was really chilly and it was slightly cold, so we just took a nap because we were all super tired from the last day and we had woken up really early again. So we just slept for an hour on the boat safari, got back and then headed to Munnar. It's a hill station and you have to go round and round on a ghat, but Munnar was worth it. And Munnar and Kochi I'm going to cover in part 2 because I might be getting sick. I don't know when I'll recover and I'm going to need to stretch out this content as much as possible. I'm really sorry. Bye bye.